Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Webcast Wednesday. My name is Avni Gala, and I'm the marketing manager here at FineTech. Today, Webcast Wednesday invites you to a special presentation in which Nirav Shah from Fortinet will help us learn about Fortinet's secure SD-WAN solution. So let's look at today's agenda. So I'm going to start off with introducing FineTech, and then we're going to do our today's presentation by Nirav, followed by Q&A. And finally, we are going to do our two drawings for $25 Amazon gift card. So for those who are not familiar with FineTech, we are a value-added distributor that specializes specifically in network security and IT security solutions. We work with Fortinet, Area Networks, AlgoSec, Bradford Networks, Exablocks, which is now StorageCraft, and Redmount IT. So these are the companies that we distribute products of. And the services that we provide include inventory. So we are one of the value-added distributors that would hold inventory for customers well-built. We provide financing, so we give you flexible payment methods. We do sales support from initial quote to close. Any marketing support like events, webinars, advertising campaigns, and any technical services from demo to deployment. So if you need an extra hand, we supply hand to the demand. So that's about us, and before I hand it over to Nirav, let me brief you on his bio and what the webinar will cover today. So Nirav manages solution marketing for next generation firewall and SD-WAN deployments built on FortiGate enterprise firewalls. Prior to joining Fortinet in 2015, he worked at Cisco Systems, where he led product management for campus and access products. And in today's webinar, he will help us learn how to reduce cost and complexity in the distributed enterprise environment with SD-WAN, how to consolidate and simplify security and networking deployments while gaining visibility throughout your distributed enterprise, and how to deploy agile security to keep up with the advanced threats, including those hiding in the SSL-encrypted traffic. So without further ado, I'm going to now hand it over to Nirav to further explore the subject.
Thanks, Avni. So I'm just sharing my slides. Hope all of you can see my slides.
Yes.
Awesome. So as Avni was saying, hey guys, hello everyone. My name is Nirav Shah. I'm a director here at Fortinet for products and solutions, and really want to focus on SD-WAN. I'm sure many of you might have heard this term. So I wanted to introduce and talk about what does that mean and how Fortinet is already providing that solution with the FortiGate product family. Before we do that, I just want to give you a quick introduction of Fortinet. I'm sure many of you are very well aware of it, but in terms of summary, Fortinet is one of the fastest network security growing company with over $1.3 billion of revenue in 2016. In fact, just as of yesterday, we are also awarded as a leader for Gartner Magic Quadrant for Enterprise Firewall. And we also have the highest unit shipped across worldwide based on the IDC numbers. So of course, we are doing very well when it comes to network security, but we're also focusing a lot on innovation. And that's where you see the number of patents which are issued to the Fortinet is over 385. I think one of the key things about Fortinet is providing the security fabric vision and giving you this end-to-end security, whether customers are using IoT devices or they are doing the adoption into the cloud. So this is very key that the security fabric gives this broad coverage. Right? Today we are going to talk about SD-WAN in a distributed enterprise, but what you see here is the Fortinet provides the broad coverage, not just for the distributed enterprise, but for all different elements, whether it's secure access, whether it's public cloud, whether it's private cloud, or whether it's a sandboxing kind of technology. We are known for very powerful, but of the reason for that is we build a purpose-built security processors, which we used to call it ASIC, so that all the FortiGates provide a very high performance, especially when you enable the security features like IPS, SSL, etc. And a third and key thing is automation, right? FortiGate and the Fortinet has this large security research team called FortiGuard, so that we have this global threat intelligence that we provide almost on a daily basis to all the FortiGate products, so that they are aware of the latest known and unknown threats, and we can mitigate them. So high level, but this is the key, how Fortinet is giving this end-to-end security with our security fabric vision. Now let's deep dive into SD-WAN, right? And I think if you look at, excuse me, if you look at the distributed enterprise, then there are some of the key trends that we are seeing in the market, due to which SD-WAN kind of technology is becoming a key driver. The first thing is adoption of the SaaS application, right? Many enterprises are using Office 365, or whether it's a Dropbox or just a Salesforce. Many of these public cloud SaaS applications are used directly from the branches. And this is kind of creating this major change of not sending your traffic from a branch to data center and then to internet, but rather open directly branch to a direct internet access to the public cloud. So that's one of the key drivers that we are observing. Along with that, we have seen a lot of adoption of the business traffic. So customers who are used to use MPLS, they are understanding that it is expensive, and they are looking for a broadband option, so that one, it is slightly cost effective than MPLS, but secondly, when you combine that with thousands of branches, then it is very effective for ROI and also in the security. And third is the increasing cyber threats, right? When we are talking about these trends where customers and a branch wants to open up internet for a direct internet access, and if you don't have the right security, then it could be a big problem. So how do you enable those changes but consistently keep the right security posture is a key trend, key requirement for those distributed enterprises. In fact, recently Gartner, a leading analyst, posted a lot of requirements about why this SD-WAN terminology is becoming important. What they mentioned is the traditional WAN architecture that we talked about, where most of the traffic from branch going to data center and then hairpinning to internet is becoming very suboptimal, right? When you want to add more traffic, when you want to enable more services, many times it takes many weeks or many months, right? So how quickly you can do those changes is a key important requirement. The second is it's very complex. Many of these branches, the way routers, security, and everything is deployed are many point products, are very complex to manage them. You still need to use CLI. The management is not single pane of glass. So that's another reason for Gartner to promote the SD-WAN kind of technology. And the third and the fourth is really about security and giving this important improved performance for applications. So these are the requirements which many of you might have heard is driving Fortinet to not only focus on security, but also give some of the networking features so that customers can enable secure SD-WAN. So what's Fortinet SD-WAN looks like, right? Let's just do a quick overview. I'm sure you heard about FortiGate. That's our network security appliance, right? And especially our FortiGate entry level, might have heard about the 60 series, 80 series. These are very popular for a distributed enterprise market, right? As I was saying in the beginning, we have #1 unit and revenue market share worldwide. So a lot of customers in the retail, in the healthcare are giving us feedback about how they want to use SD-WAN. So we think that the key differentiator for Fortinet has been that our security processors, which gives you very high performance for VPN, SSL, along with this key networking and security functionality, can give customer one box solution where they don't need different appliances, but you can still get the secure SD-WAN functionality, right? So that's one, that's big, and that's majority of the time we are going to spend today talk about what are the features available in FortiOS that enables SD-WAN functionality, right? The second part of it is more futuristic, but a lot of customers are talking about virtual CPE, right? I just want to buy an x86 server and then run some of the VM and do the service chain. So we did launch a Forti hypervisor, which is a virtual CPE platform. It is exactly same as FortiGate. It uses those ASICs, but it has a KVM hypervisor. So we'll talk about how we can also enable SD-WAN using the Forti hypervisor kind of VCPE market. So let's now focus on FortiGate and look at how we can enable SD-WAN with what feature set that are available today. So as I was saying in the beginning, I'm sure you are aware of the FortiGate entry level and a mid-range products, right? The entry level, which is FortiGate 30 to 90 series. This comes in a desktop form factor. It has that system on chip ASIC that we built purposely, which has a very high performance. And this is great, very well suitable for a branch deployment who wants to do SD-WAN, looking for a high VPN performance, high SSL performance, and networking features. The good thing is this FortiGate entry level comes with a lot of variation, right? So if customer wants 3G, 4G interface or a DSL interface or a PoE, you have those integrations available. The second is for some of the bigger branches, you can use the mid-range, which is 100 to 900 series, a same operating system. It has the processors which are split, so it is network processor and a content processor. It gives you the same high performance, but has a high port density for a 1 gig, 10 gig, and has a dual power supply. Right? So now we can enable all the next generation firewall functionality and also has those networking features for SD-WAN. Right? So these are the products. You can learn a lot more about it if you just go to Fortinet.com and look at the entry level or a mid-range, and you'll see a specific information around that. And what we recently did is this year in April, when we announced FortiOS 5.6, that was one of our major release of FortiOS operating system, where we enabled several SD-WAN features. Right? What I'm showing on the left side is a typical deployment where there are a lot of FortiGates which are deployed in a distributed branches. And instead of everything going via MPLS to data center, now customers are splitting the traffic. So some of them are using MPLS, broadband, LTE, and all of them using VPN, splitting to the different kind of destination, not just the data center, but for a public cloud, for a SaaS application, private cloud, or an infrastructure like AWS and Azure, right? So we can do that. And one of the few things that we really added or enhanced where we have this link load balancing, which we now call a WAN path controller. And if you go to the FortiGate user interface, you will see the SD-WAN right in the center, right? Where you can enable several links, you can bond them together and do this link load balancing for several applications. We built a dynamic SaaS application database. We'll talk about that shortly. And of course, the VPN and the traffic shaping and quality of service, all these features are key to enable SD-WAN along with providing the security. So if you haven't seen, highly recommend, if you look at the FortiOS 5.6 announcement that we did, the public webinar, which is available on our website, has a lot of good details about what does that mean, how we are enabling SD-WAN, and how we are solving those customer pain points. So now let's take a look at what are the requirements customers have and how FortiGate with the FortiOS 5.6 enable SD-WAN, right? So what I'm showing here is the first requirement typically customers have is, look, today my FortiGate has two links, both are using MPLS directly going to data center. Now I want to split my traffic. So I want one MPLS go to data center, but then directly internet going to the public cloud and another 3G, 4G link going to the SaaS application, right? So now you are splitting using multiple links and going to the different destinations. What you see here is when you do this, the first important feature that we want you to enable is an IPsec VPN tunneling, right? And as you know, this is not new. I mean, FortiGate has that feature for several years. It's one of the highly used features, and the ASIC or the security processors that we talked about actually enhances the VPN performance when you do this tunneling. So recently when we launched 60E, we saw that the VPN performance for us is at least 11 times better than any other vendors in the market. So now you can split your traffic as you want, but you can use the VPN for a secure connectivity with the high performance, right? So that's the first requirement, very easily doable without sacrificing the performance. Now, the second important requirement is once you split your links, now you want to make sure that you're aligning right application for the right link, right? What you really want to do is, let's say my voice applications are very critical and I wanted to send them via MPLS to data center. But all other applications, which are best effort or a public cloud SaaS application, I want to send it via internet to those destinations. So our WAN path controller can do that, right? As I was saying, the user interface SD-WAN configuration is very simple. You can bond all these links together, and then you can assign the applications as you need. One thing which we did, which is relatively innovative compared to other vendors, is now we have this dynamic cloud application database, right? So think about that. You are decided to go Office 365 traffic from a branch to the first link towards the internet. Now, many times what happens is the Office 365 or AWS IP addresses, port numbers, they keep on changing. So we want to make sure that as it changes, the FortiGate which is sitting in a branch has those information. So when the traffic comes in from a user, the branch to rectify that this is the right IP address for those SaaS applications, and we have decided to use the internet link number 1, right? So we can do this on a dynamic basis, which will make sure that the end users don't suffer and you get the right load balancing without any problems. So highly recommend, look at the FortiOS 5.6. We have this internet service database, which gives you this functionality. The third important requirement is, let's say that once you decide which application should go to which link, now you want to make sure that those links are healthy, right? And that's one of the key requirements for SD-WAN, where if any of the link, whether it's a latency or jitter or a packet loss, is going higher than expected value, then you want to make sure that those applications don't suffer and they are routed to a second link. So we can do that. I think 5.6 has those features inbuilt so that you can configure per interface link. And then if that interface link value goes beyond what you configured, then we'll make sure that that traffic is routed to other links and the users don't get to see any problems. So that was key. The link quality measurement available as part of the FortiOS enables SD-WAN even more seamlessly. And the fourth important requirement is the traffic shaping, right? There will be a lot of applications which may not be that important, and you want to make sure that you don't utilize that much bandwidth. Right? I think one of the key driver for SD-WAN is how do you use your bandwidth most effectively, right? So the FortiOS has this traffic shapers which are already inbuilt. You can assign applications which are low or not that critical, and will make sure that it does not use the more bandwidth and your overall ROI does not get impacted. So this guaranteed SLA for traffic shaping for application is a key feature available as part of FortiOS, enables the SD-WAN for FortiGate. The last one, and this is very important, is the topology, visibility, and link utilization, right? And this is one of the great features which we enable as part of the security fabric. What you see here is, let's say once you configure FortiGate for a branch or for a campus, and you enable security fabric, it's going to give you this topology view so that you can see what other FortiGates or access point or switches or even endpoints are connected. And you can also see which endpoint is using what kind of bandwidth, right? For example, here we are saying that one endpoint with the Windows is using half gigabytes of bandwidth, which may not be required at that point. So now with the one simple view, you can see how your bandwidth is utilized, how your links are utilized, and then you can make changes to make sure your overall security and networking posture is optimal. So again, very important. This again goes back to our security fabric vision where we wanted to show you a broad coverage of all products. You can see it in a FortiGate. It's deployed at the branch, and it can also use for an SD-WAN use case. Any of you, like if you wanted to see some of these features live, highly recommend go to the Fortinet website, go to the FortiGate demo, and you can see these features live, how they are being used today. And the last important feature, apart from the networking, is the security, right? Most of the SD-WAN vendors today, when they talk about the networking features, they don't have the right security functionality. Right? And when you enable these devices for direct internet access, and if you don't have the web filtering, IPS, or antivirus functionality, then you'll be in a big trouble. This is why FortiGate, which gives you this great security, which again, I'm showing you some of the samples of the database that we have, like 190 terabytes of threat samples, thousands of signatures for IPS, web filtering, for AV, and consistently validated by NSS Labs or Virus Bulletin or ICSA, right? So all these services, along with those networking features that we talked about, gives you enough for customer to enable secure SD-WAN as they are transitioning from routing, switching, and security in a single box. So that's about the FortiGate. Excuse me, sorry about my throat. The next piece is when you start deploying several of these FortiGates, it is important, a requirement for SD-WAN is to do a centralized management with a unified policy. And that you can do it either with FortiManager or with FortiCloud, right? Important is now with the FortiManager or FortiCloud, you can push all the security policies, the firmware, the device settings to FortiGate. And then FortiGate can give back those information as a security events, analytics, so we can do some correlation and give you a single view where you can see how every branch is doing, what is the high bandwidth application, how every user is doing, whether any threat information that you should be concerned about. So you can see that as a single pane of glass and gives you a very simple way to manage all of them. So this is just a quick 3 features that are very well applicable for SD-WAN, right? And one of the key one is if you're using the FortiGate user interface, then the FortiManager, FortiAnalyzer is very similar. You will not see any big changes there. You can do a full control, so not just the FortiGate. As you're expanding the AP switches endpoint, you can manage all of them. And one of the key feature of SD-WAN is a VPN. So we have this integrated VPN user interface. So you can see all of those gates, how they're deployed, and do a simple configuration. Right? So that's about the FortiGate based SD-WAN. We are already observing a high amount of customers deploying today. Last month, we did a public announcement of Edward Jones, which is one of the big financial company using close to 20, sorry about that, using close to 20,000 of FortiGates for several different branches and enabling SD-WAN. Similarly, we saw a big retail food chain with 7,000 locations who are now going for SD-WAN, and they're looking for both networking and security functionality. So we are seeing a lot of interest, and FortiGate has those features that we talked about, which are important and without compromising security at the same time. So if you want more information, highly recommend go to Fortinet website. You will see secure SD-WAN as a key deployment, and you will learn more about the gates and the features that we talked about. The next piece is a hypervisor, right? And as I was saying earlier, this is slightly different. This is more for a big enterprise looking for a virtual CPE or an NFV kind of deployment. And really, our vision is we wanted to give customers who are looking for service chaining or having more VNFs working together. We want to simplify the deployment. We wanted to get our security fabric vision here so that not only you can use the FortiGate VM, but any other SD-WAN which are available in the market, right? For example, VeloCloud or Silver Peak or even Versa, all of them are our fabric-ready partners. So you can use their VM in case you want those networking features along with the FortiGate security features, right? So very flexible. But the good thing is it uses those security processors. So when you use VPN and SSL, you get those high performance. Even in the x86 kind of deployment, sometimes it gets a lot of problems when you enable those features. Right? So really, it's a hybrid appliance, as I was saying, the same as FortiGate, but it uses the KVM hypervisor. It's open. You can run any other VM along with the Fortinet specific VM like FortiGate. Several models are available today, right? The three key models that I want to highlight is the 90E Forti hypervisor, 500D and 2500E. So you can go from the smallest office to the largest enterprise deployment, right? And as I was saying, a lot of fabric-ready partners that I'm mentioning here, you can run their VM on the hypervisor, right? We have those fabric-ready APIs, which customers can use it, partners can use it, and does the integration. But how you use it is a very simple, right? As I'm showing a simple example of secure SD-WAN ecosystem. So customers can start the hypervisor with the FortiGate VM, which has the OS 5.6 features that we talked about earlier. But in case they are looking for more SD-WAN functionality, you can always go with those third-party vendors that we talked about and run their VM, right? So you can get all of those features in a Forti hypervisor kind of hybrid appliance, which enables the service chain. Right? So really, that's in a nutshell what I had for SD-WAN today. I think the three key takeaways I really want you to take is the first, Fortinet does provide SD-WAN solution. A lot of customers are already using it. Second, I think our SD-WAN has a great approach of not just the networking features, but also has a high performance security. And third, you can see it is how simple to use with a Forti manager, where it can give you single pane of glass when you deploy thousands of FortiGate for different branches, right? So do take a look at, go to website, Fortinet.com, look at the secure SD-WAN, look at the FortiGate entry level and mid range, and you'll get a lot more details. If you have any question, feel free to send me email or I'll be on the bridge now. So Avni, that's what I have. Thank you.
Hi, Nirav. Thank you again for taking your time out to present and educate our partners. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to put it in the Q&A box or the chat box, and we'll wait for a couple of minutes here. I did see one question coming in for the deck. So once after the webinar, we will send you the presentation deck along with the webinar session that I have recorded. Nirav, are you able to read the questions too?
Okay, go ahead.
There's one more that is asking, when will Fortinet release a VeloCloud equipped firewall for resale?
Yes, I think we are not planning to release VeloCloud equipped firewall. The way you want to do it is the Forti hypervisor, right? That's a KVM hypervisor. So what you can do is you can run the VeloCloud VM, the virtual image, on that along with the FortiGate virtual image. We have already validated that, so that functionality is working very well. So do use that and let us know if you see any problems.
Okay, yes. There's another question.
Yeah, at the same time, the VeloCloud appliance can also run the Fortinet VM. We have a joint solution brief on our website. You can see that. So on a VeloCloud edge device, you can run the FortiGate VM and get the same security functionality. So you can do it both ways. It is tested. In fact, some of the service providers are using it, so it should not be any problem. I see another question. Does the far side, the cloud providers need to have any special configuration to work with SD-WAN? I think it depends, James, right? I think the first one is, if you look at the cloud providers, let's take an example, whether it's AWS or you're looking for SaaS application. I talked about, we have this special database called SaaS application database, which is on a FortiGate. And we update their IP addresses dynamically on a frequent basis. So because of that, you don't need any special changes, special thing on their end, right? You can have a FortiGate on a branch, you can have a FortiGate VM, AWS, so you can have that VPN tunneling. But then our database, SaaS database, will make sure that it is using the right interface that it is going towards that.
Okay, and then there's another question in the chat box asking how is Fortinet different from other vendors?
I think the key thing is, if you look at the SD-WAN vendor landscape, most of the vendors only have the networking functionality. And Fortinet is one of the only vendors, I think you'll only see, there are only a handful of vendors which can give you the best of breed of security and networking together. So the difference of Fortinet is, now you get one box which can give you security which is proven, a very high security effectiveness, and has several of networking features which enable SD-WAN, right? So that's very, very important. Second is, when you want to do SD-WAN application visibility, and almost 50% of the traffic is SSL or encrypted, most of the SD-WAN vendors don't do the decryption. FortiGate, with those security processors, we can do the decryption and make sure we can give that application on the right link. So having that SSL decryption right in the FortiGate is one of the key differentiators for enabling SD-WAN that most vendors don't do it.
Okay. Okay, so I guess there's no more question. Oh, there's one more. Can you use Fortinet SD-WAN features to replace the Velo Cloud offering?
Can you say that again?
Can you use the Fortinet SD-WAN features to replace the Velo Cloud offering?
So yeah, there are two ways you can do it, right? If you look at the Fortinet SD-WAN solution, you can start off with that. It has those features where customers will meet the requirement, and you can use that for SD-WAN. But as I was saying, if there are any specific networking feature where you want to use Velo Cloud, you are more than welcome to use that as part of the Forti hypervisor or on their own Velo Cloud device.
Okay. All right. So if you guys have any other further questions, you can directly email Nirav at nshah, S-H-A-H, at Fortinet.com, or you can always email me at marketing@finetag.com. So before I go on to the waffle drawing, I would like to show you our partner portal. It takes about a couple minutes for you to register, and once you're registered, you will have access to our partner resources, including the recordings of the previous webinars and presentations, and partner promotions, and vendor partner resources such as solution briefs under Fortinet resources, such as solution briefs and product information. So please feel free to get yourself registered so that you can have access to all these resources. And now it's time for our drawing for two $25 Amazon gift cards. Okay, congratulations, Rolf Berkland and Jiva S. I will later email you with your e-code for your gift card. And we will have next webinar on area networks on July 26th at 10 p.m., where in this introductory webinar, our presenter will discuss network functions platform, network functions ecosystem, Aries product portfolio, and Aries total value. So see you guys on July 26th, and thank you for attending.